From the Building of Faith, welcome to Celebration, a Christian talk and variety show with outreaches across the world via television, radio, internet, and social media. You'll hear from today's leading authors, preachers, singers, evangelists, songwriters, and local Christian leaders. Now here's your host, president and founder of Journey Network, Dr. J.T. Guyton.
Well, in case you wonder, what in heaven's name has taken place? Well, we have taken over Studio B here at WGYJ 93.5 FM, where that FM stands for frequency modulation. That's what it's supposed to stand for. But here we like to say family matters.
Family matters.
That's right. Family matters. I might could come up with something else to say that FM stands for. Future
money.
Future money. That's a good one. The one and only Patrick Casey is in the studio today, right here in Studio B. We're doing something special today.
Something wild.
Something wild.
We're not even sure what that is.
We're just going to have fun, y'all. But let me go to this little ID, and I'll be right back.
This is WGYJ LP 93.5 Atmore, Alabama.
You know what happened? I'm not used to having TV cameras in this studio, and it's got my mind messed up.
After 18 years.
Yet here we are. We have transformed this. So the main reason of what we're doing today is we always have fun when Pastor Pat comes. That's for sure. But today we're doing two things at once. We're actually live on the radio right now. So for those of you listening, you're like, what in the world is going on? We're taping a TV show in the midst of doing this live today because we want all the viewers of the Journey Network to see how much fun it is when you just listen to J3 Radio.
That's true.
So, I was telling Pastor Pat over lunch today that when we were at the event with T. Graham Brown, that I was telling him about that. I did not tell you this part. That's in Georgiana, Alabama, right?
They wouldn't have known.
Where Hank is from. And would you believe we had I want to say 5, maybe 6 people come up and they're like, hey, we listen to you guys on the app.
Yeah.
I'm
Nice.
like, really?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, because they saw us with the WGYJ T-shirts and the whatever.
It was pretty wild.
It was
People
cool.
were waving at us, and I was like, who is that?
But did you sign autographs?
No, but I took selfies.
Well, you should have.
Yeah.
You should have signed autographs.
Well,
was a
You
guy
might need an
signing.
auto pen.
Yeah.
I've heard those are... You can do a lot with those.
You can make government orders with them.
Y'all be good. Y'all be good.
Listen, did you know?
But no, I did. We did have this one individual. We were coming out from backstage. We were in there getting footage of the meet and greet with T. Graham and all this stuff. And I mean, literally, I hate saying this stuff because I ain't.
Sounds self-aggrandizing.
Yeah, and we're not. We just right here in Atmore, Alabama. But
He's lying, y'all. He's pompous. He's pompous. If you saw the hairspray in his hair, you'd know.
But literally, we're walking out the door, and there's this individual, and can we get a selfie with you? And I'm like, I'm not T. Graham Brown.
He's still inside.
Like, no, we know.
That's so good.
We know. And I'm like, really? Okay, yeah.
Love it.
Selfies. He didn't want to tell you it was at the Senior Community Center.
Bingo night.
All of the ladies average 95 and above.
That's right.
A funny story, I was at a prayer conference for a denomination, and Jason Crabb was there. And this was back before I lost my hair.
Well.
And now I have a face for radio. And a lady came up and she said, "Oh, my Lord, I just love your music. It's so powerful. It's so good. It's ministered to me so many times. Can I have your autograph?" Yeah.
I just signed it Jason Crabb. So somewhere out there's a person with a fake autograph who thought I was Jason Crabb. I'm so thankful she didn't ask me to sing.
Oh, right? I mean, what would you have done if she said, "Could you sing one of those Crabb songs?" Like
man, I think I would have just said he never promised he would give free concerts.
That's right. That's not part of the contract.
He never promised.
Yeah.
That the cross would not get heavy.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
I would just say you've probably never seen Jason and Pat in the same room together, which is funny because I said, has Sam been on this program? Has Sam been on this?
Not on the radio show.
Okay,
no.
Listen, it hit me out of nowhere one day. I was looking at him, and the way that his eyes are fixed on his head and his nose, I said, this guy looks like Sammy Hagar of Van Halen. And I called Sam, and I said, Sam, it's just hit me. Dr. Luke, you look like Sammy Hagar. And he said, well, Pat, I am Sammy Hagar. And I said, how can I be sure? And he said, have you ever seen us in the same room together?
Oh,
so,
that's typical Sam Luke,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I have to agree.
That is too funny. We'll have to remind him of that when he comes down in the fall. I love it.
Oh, man.
There's someone else who he reminds me of, and
He looks like President Reagan in a way.
As he gets older, he looks more like Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a compliment. The only thing I can see is Phil Collins had a video. What was the name of it? This is Atlanta. Oh man, I'll have to look.
Are you
going
to show this to your congregation?
I'll have to.
Do they realize how hilarious you are sometimes?
Man, I don't know. I think most of the time I'm really not sure. Sometimes when I'm being really serious, they're laughing, and I'm like, I'm being serious.
Stop it.
And then there's other times when I am being funny that nobody laughs. So.
Okay, but go ahead. You said you don't really know about.
Well, anyway, Phil Collins had a video, and it was about kind of like Ronald Reagan was in it, but it was like this caricature, like this cartoon figure, and he had a floppy nose, and it was made out of clay. And so when you say that Ronald Reagan, that's the Ronald Reagan I envision.
And he was a stud when he was young.
Seen that.
Have you seen the movie?
And I've not seen the movie, but I've seen those cartoon type things you're talking about of Ronald Reagan.
Like claymation.
Yeah.
You know what disappoints me about Ronald Reagan? I don't know that it disappoints me, but it was a shocker. You know, he and Nancy were not wealthy. You know, a lot of people that go into politics are very wealthy people. First of all, when he was a movie star, they didn't make a lot of money.
Right.
Like they do today, and they didn't get royalties and stuff like they do today. So when he went into politics, he really was not a wealthy person. And do you know that when he left the White House, they had to borrow the money from friends to buy the house that they moved in Bel Air.
Unbelievable.
So the Fresh Prince of Bel Air lived.
Well, I was going to say,
and
wouldn't you like to have first world problems where you had to borrow money to live in Bel Air?
That's right.
But they didn't. But you know, it wasn't like their coffers were full of multitudinous multiplicities.
Well, in that generation, my grandfather, he passed at 91. It's been about 5 years ago now. But you know, to listen to him. You know, they worked for 50 cents an hour or something. Yes, and, they walked uphill in the snow backwards both ways with no shoes.
No shoes.
I remember trying to borrow $500 from my grandparents to go to college for the summer, to take a summer class. And my grandfather just telling me, if you know what your grandmother and I had to do for a living, I was like, am I really having my chops busted over going to school? I'm trying to better myself. And trust me.
Yes, sir,
trust me, he made me pay it back with interest.
I bet so. He was going to teach you something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an amazing generation. Hard workers.
Yeah.
Well, they were, yeah. And every day I'm thankful for them. I tell you, I really am. My daddy and Glenn Barnhill, and I've told Glenn Barnhill this many times, Pastor Glenn Barnhill, I've told him this many times. I'm like, you can work circles around guys half your age.
Correct.
I'm wore out, and Glenn's just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, just to put a bow on what you're talking about, the man fell however many stories.
So he fell 18 feet.
Broke his neck. And the first words out of his mouth were, before you take me to the hospital, let's go on and finish this job. Let's just put it into perspective.
And the second words were, Debbie, give me a pot of coffee.
But sure enough, I mean, here he is. He's broke his neck, and is that crazy? But I mean,
really
that's the way they were raised, and that's what you did was you worked.
They were built differently.
When I go home, I'm looking for the recliner. But my daddy would work, come home, and go back outside to work.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like my uncle that passed away, my great uncle, Uncle Ollie, back last year, he would do that. He worked at the bank, and he would come home. He'd come home, take his suit off, and put work clothes on, and then he'd go outside and work in the yards or in the shop or something. He still didn't go in there and just whatever. I mean, that's just the way that generation did.
My grandfather would complain that I wouldn't come to see him enough, right? I mean, I get probably all grandparents do, and in truth, probably grandchildren don't see their grandparents enough. Yeah. So let this be a lesson to you kids. Go visit your grandparents today. But I remember going to my grandfather's house, and by the way, I don't know how they worked for 50 cents a week and died with the kind of money that they had. But they also lived incredibly frugal. My grandfather died with a pretty decent amount of money, but he didn't have a washer and dryer in his house until 2007.
Did you get the $500 back though when he died?
Oh no. No, I was not in the will. Yeah, but
okay.
Long story, but it was good. He loved me.
Sure,
but he took care of his two sons, and so that passed along. But anyway, but I went in one day to see him, and again, no air conditioner.
Yeah.
Had a pile of money in the bank. No air conditioner in his house. I walk in. He's in boxers and like a tank top. I don't want to say it'd be politically incorrect to say wife beater, but that's
they call those wife pleasers now.
Yes, right. And I just walked in and he said, "Why don't you come and see me more?" And I said, "Grandpa, it's 113 hills in this house, and nobody wants to sit in the seat." And he said, "That's what's wrong with you kids." He said, "You're what I call the air conditioned generation." He said, "You couldn't have handled it in my day."
Preaching a sermon on that one.
I mean, it was good.
You know what? I thank God for the air conditioned generation.
Amen.
You better believe it.
What a blessing to be one of those today.
We want to celebrate Brother Carrier today.
Yeah, that's right.
I lay hands on my air conditioner and pray.
Yes, sir.
Lord,
Man,
strengthen the days.
when we
lengthen the days.
stayed, there was this segment. We may have talked about this the last time Pastor Pat was on the show, but there was this segment in our life where we all just kind of found ourselves staying at Nana and Papa's house for the summer.
We was probably talking about because the last time Pastor Pat was here, I was sweating like a.
Probably.
I don't know what that day I was sick.
Brought it in.
I remember that. You better be so glad I didn't get sick. That's why I almost declined. That's why I almost declined today. He tried to give me the flu last time.
Horrible.
Oh, go ahead.
I remember because Pop, he and Nana had to go during the week to Georgia for his treatments at the time. And so while they were gone, we were staying there. There were remodels going on at our house. Uncle had to have an operation. Anyway, so we all found ourselves there. So during the week, air conditioning was good. Yeah. When Pawpaw came back, Pawpaw didn't sleep with it cold. And so different people were sneaking through the house at night to bump it down a little bit.
Absolutely
But
not.
Daddy would come back
find out.
Who turned this air up is what he'd say.
Yeah, and it was not me.
And you know what? He would tell us, here we are, grown adults. Daddy would say, y'all may be grown, but this is still my house.
Yes.
And you don't touch my air conditioner.
I can't remember, JonChristian, you can help me. There's a movie that's got Mark Wahlberg and
It's not Meet the Parents.
Is it like Daddy's Home or
Yes.
Stepdads or
Yeah.
maybe Stepdads?
Yeah.
Is the name of
Okay.
it. And there's a scene where they talk about the thermostat, and this little 12-year-old girl goes out and runs it up, and she's like, "I like to sleep with my window open," and all of the dads and granddads are standing in the hall looking at her like she's some strange
You're
creature.
wasted.
And You're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember going to my grandparents in North Alabama, and now my grandmother lived down here. She thoroughly and fully took advantage of the air conditioning,
Mm-hmm.
so she was not going to be without. But my grandparents up north, they would sleep with the windows open and fans in those windows at night.
No, that displeases the Lord.
And but I got to say, I never remember getting hot. Of course, I know the temperature's a little bit different up in North Alabama than it is down here.
Hills.
But I never remember getting hot at night. I just remember as a kid thinking, "Oh my God, do they not have air conditioning? Why are they not running?"
Strange truth. I didn't realize this until Hurricane Katrina. My grandfather lived on a peninsula on Dog River, and all of the houses you had to worry that got wet would mold spread rapidly.
Oh, wow.
And so I had a guy come in and look at my grandfather's house, and my grandfather kept saying, "No, we don't sweep this mud out. We just gonna get back to living." And I said, "I don't understand. Like, Grandpa, you can't live in here like this. There's going to be mold." And
Yeah.
he said, boy, don't you tell me. Well, the old houses were not as sealed as they are now because of the air conditioner. They were actually created to breathe. So there were gaps in the walls and roof, and so the air just flowed through. So, look, 97 degrees is 97 degrees, right?
Right.
But I would say that ventilation probably helps. So
That is true.
Well, it does help it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I tell you what we're going to do is we're going to say thank you to a couple of underwriters, and then we're going to come back and join in. If you're watching by television right now, this is Journey Network, but we're giving you a behind-the-scenes look of what happens at J3 Radio.
Yeah.
At all different times. So we want you to just sit down and hang on, and we'll be back right after this.
Programming on WGYJ is made possible through support by Johnson Ford. They are located at 1828 South Main Street in Atmore. They have new and used Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Their phone number is 2-513-682-135. Their website is www.johnsonford.com and on Facebook at Johnson Ford.
Pepsi Cola Bottling Company of Atmore is a proud supporter of WGYJ 93.5 FM. They offer a line of Pepsi products and snacks. More information available at 251-368-3197. Their address is 106 Presley Street, and their name is Pepsi Cola Atmore on Facebook.
Flowers on 5th is located at 102 5th Avenue in Atmore. They have a selection of live and silk floral arrangements, gifts, and cemetery pieces. For more information, Flowers on 5th on Facebook or 251-253-9469. Thank you, Flowers on 5th, for supporting J3 Radio.
Hey, and we're back. The morning show with JT and Charlotte. Your daily dose of chaos and coffee.
Well,
She ain't here.
Chaos and coffee. Well, we've got the chaos. But, well, you have the coffee.
And I have the coffee. We just have no Charlotte.
No Charlotte.
We have no Charlotte this morning. But she doesn't do Wednesdays with us, so we're okay. And this show will air on radio on a Wednesday morning, so that's okay.
On TV in the night.
But on TV at any given time.
Yeah.
In Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, Atlanta.
Hello, Atlanta.
And
Hi, Atlanta.
and parts roundabout. But you're talking about, we were discussing a while ago, Pastor Pat was here the last time.
Yes, sir.
We were doing the 100th show.
That's right.
So this will actually be today.
What is this?
Well, I don't know what number this is going to be. This will fall in one day next week. But today we recorded the 174th
Nice.
Wow.
morning show. So this station, we've been on the air 8 months.
Wow.
And so anyway, yeah.
Feels like yesterday.
Yesterday.
And yet, in a way, a lifetime ago.
And a lifetime away.
Yeah.
And a lifetime ago. Yeah, that's right. But you know what? We have we've come a long way in 8 months.
Yes, sir, we
And
have.
we got a long
Been
ways to
blessed.
go. And we're doing better than we were. So but one thing I found out is in life, that is whatever you're doing, stay faithful to it. We talk so much here lately. You hear so much about Brother Swaggart's life, and we were just talking about this at lunch. Even at 90 years old. Now, there were some preachers that they were pushing 90. They really didn't need to be on TV anymore.
They were finished at 70.
They were finished at 70.
Yeah, they were.
And but they just hung on.
Yeah.
But Brother Swaggart, I mean, you know what? He ran his race well.
Yeah.
He kept going. He didn't get detoured. I just refused to live there like the whatever you want to call the news people and those people that like to keep going, even though Brother Swaggart he kept moving right along, he didn't forget his call. He didn't forget what he's supposed to do. And, I think about that. And in life, when I think about him, I think about a tree. The Bible even teaches us this, that if a tree is not pruned,
Mm-hmm.
it can't grow and it can't get better, so it has to be pruned from time to time. And, and I often wonder, had that pruning not taken place, could that you think a ministry like that, as big as it was in the 80s, could it have gotten any bigger? Well, maybe not then, but my gosh, today
Right.
it's way bigger than it ever was in the 80s. You know, more reach because somebody didn't give up.
Well, and yeah, just what a metaphor for all of us in life, no matter what we're facing, to just keep chopping wood. You know, it's not that you're unaware. Like we would all be crazy to think that he didn't hear the sneers and the jeers and the negative comments and commentary, but he answered to a higher person. That's the person that he's going to stand before. I don't know why people feel the need to be the judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
And whether you liked him or not, you have to appreciate the Lord. Literally, I'm not the one that always says I saw the Lord in the clouds today, or in a piece of toast. But when I was walking in a gas station to get a drink the other day, the day that he passed away, and I may have you and I may have been talking on the phone, and the Lord just spoke to me and said, "It's not easier to keep going. It would have been easier to quit."
Yeah.
And the one thing that we can appreciate is that although it would have been easier for him to quit and just do something else, slip into oblivion, there were no earthly rewards or payoff for him to continue staying in the fire and the fight. It would have been easier to just go. He could have written books in obscurity.
Yeah.
Nobody would have. He could have written under a pseudonym. He could have recorded albums, but to stay on and stay in the eye and to keep preaching the gospel, he knew that eventually he would be answering to a higher authority and power. And I think we all need to not only learn a lesson of just keep chopping wood, keep our head down, but also let God handle His servants.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I applaud him for that.
Amen.
You know, he wrote a book that is out of print and very hard to find. I happened upon a copy of the book, but after everything happened, and he said, you don't know. I would like to say it right, but I can't remember. But he said, you don't know the horrors. You don't know the things that go through your mind until you've been made fun of by the entire world.
Yeah.
Every news media, every comedian, every newspaper. And I got so mad the other day because I was looking for an album. If you really want some good, like, Johnny Cash, that type of stuff, Jared, you need to get Brother Swaggart's first 4 albums. Dude, you want to talk about some going to whatever town. But I was looking for an album, an LP on eBay. And, man, the fools out there have already started making T-shirts making fun of Brother Swaggart.
Yeah.
What kind of person does that? Like, do they even have a conscience?
Yeah. Oh, well, they have no life.
Well,
they have nothing else. Their only 15 minutes of fame is riding somebody else's influence.
True.
And to just dig and kick while people are down. So, they have no other importance.
And I thought, man, isn't that sad that you have to stoop to the level to make up T-shirts when somebody's dead?
Yeah.
To make fun of them. I mean, that's just...
Well, and even the headlines that would say disgraced minister, I'm like, man, are we really in 1990?
Yeah.
Is that what we're still talking about?
Yeah.
When the guys just run for another 35 years beyond this, 30 years prior to that, 30 years after that, and this is what we are. We're at a snapshot. Yeah. And that's the generation we live in, though. We take snapshots, and we think that capsulizes a person's entire life and walk and ministry. I mean, I have commentaries that he's written in my office.
They got me through my freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His commentaries are... The man knew the book, that's for sure, and no doubt knew the Lord, and what a grand homecoming, I'm sure, was waiting on him in heaven. Yeah. And I shared this on the radio, but I'll tell you, and those watching by television who may not have seen it or heard me say this, but one time I was out there at camp meeting, and no, I was at another church for a meeting, and I drove over to the bookstore there at Brother Swaggart's headquarters, and he walked through the front door, and he come over to where I was, and I've knocked myself in the head 1,000,000 times because I didn't get a selfie. And he comes in and he says, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Atmore, Alabama." "Atmore, Alabama?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Oh man, I've preached in Atmore. We had some great meetings over there." He said, "As a matter of fact," he said, "Atmore, Alabama is where I was. I was in revival at First Assembly in Atmore."
Wow.
When I got the news that my mother was seriously ill and that I needed to come home. And he said, so we packed up, he said, and we left. And he said, he said, back then we didn't have interstates. He said, so in order to get back over here to Louisiana, he said, I had to go through Bay Minette. I said, oh, I know exactly. Mm-hmm. He said, well, when you go around, I mean, he was very specific. He said, when you go around the courthouse square in Bay Minette, he said, just as you go, he said, there's a gas station, old gas station. I said, I know exactly where you're talking about. He said, I stopped right there, picked up the phone to call and check in, and that's where they told me she had passed away.
Wow.
So he had, a lot of memories of Atmore.
Well, and that's the part of the person that, people only know what they see and what they hear. Mm-hmm. But when you know the person, just give you this is an aside, but it's to this point. Most of those guys are, and I say those guys because they're a different breed of people.
Yeah,
incredibly intelligent, super spiritual, deep.
Sure.
Some of them do struggle with their own identity issues.
Yeah.
But I remember some friends of mine when there was a very large church in the state that planted, and some guys said to me, they were like, "Well, you know why all those people are going to that church, right? They've got ice cream trucks out front. They're passing out ice creams." I said, you guys couldn't get 20,000 people to come to your church if you were giving away automobiles. So, there's something more than just like, Jimmy didn't just will all of these people and all of these sales and all of these sermons and these. He didn't just will that into existence. Like if it were that easy, everybody would do it. He did it, and people were drawn because there was an anointing on his life. Right. He loved the Lord. He preached with passion.
That's right.
And so
I love it.
That's so true.
And no ice cream trucks were involved.
That's right. In the making of this video. So we're going to take you to a song right now. If you're wondering about J3 Radio, WGYJ 93.5, those of you watching television, it's the music you grew up on. That's our whole motto, slogan, whatever you want to call it. The music you grew up on. Because this is the kind of music we heard. This is, to me, when music was good. And from what we hear from most of you out there, you're like, that is exactly what I grew up on and exactly what I like. Even people his age seem to be enjoying it. So let's go all the way back to 1981. Here's the Oak Ridge Boys.
We are so glad you have been with us for this program. Our prayer is that today's show has been a blessing and an encouragement to you and your walk with the Lord. This ministry is continually reaching out to spread the good news of Jesus Christ to all the world. We need your love gifts and prayers to help keep this ministry on the air 24 hours a day. So call us at 1-833-963-5433 or write us at Journey Network, P.O. Box 1420, Atmore, Alabama 36504. Or you can contact us online at journeynetwork.live. If you would like to have JT come speak to your church, conference, or event, please visit our website and go to the event scheduling tab. Thank you for your continued support. And remember, God loves you, and we do too.